How's it going, YouTube? It's RJ here, and in this video, I'm going to actually be talking about Emerald City Comic Con. Now this right here is not going to be like reviewing any of the pops I've gotten, which if you want to see what I've gotten, you can watch like the last few videos. Emerald City Comic Con was, in all honesty, a mess, to say it bluntly. Now, not everything was bad, and I'm going to go over every store and how everything went down, and what I feel was wrong about how it happened, and what I feel went okay with it, and what I didn't really have a grievance with. Now, we'll go store by store. Let's start with some of the good things. Box Lunch had huge stock of the Army Man. That went perfectly fine. Box Lunch was great. Now, Toys R Us, that went well for me as also, but I can see where there is a problem with Toys R Us. Now, Toys R Us, they ended up releasing in some stores the She-Hulk a day early, and the price was cheaper. I know I didn't pay full Comic-Con price for it, but here's the thing, I went there the next day, and there were no She-Hulk. So everyone who went there Comic-Con day itself, I can see where there was a problem, where She-Hulks were already sold out because they were released a day early. Now, I was able to pick it up because I just went to Toys R Us that day just to check out a few things, and saw her and I picked her up. But, yeah, that was an iffy scenario. Now, Hot Topic. Hot Topic's really good with their items. Hot Topic is always good. They had the online site up in the morning, or like 12 in the afternoon. It went perfectly fine. There was, however, but that's if you're talking about the Gene Ralphio and the Alien Rick and Alien Morty. My Hot Topic, as well as a lot of different Hot Topics, did not get the Amy Pond pop in. They did not get the pop in the day of Comic-Con because there was a problem with shipping. And that's kind of a big thing with a few of the stores, that there's just a problem with shipping, which I don't understand necessarily. Funko should have gotten everything all together, in advance, because this is a Comic-Con. This doesn't happen at all normally. This is something that has been in the works for who knows how long. So Amy Pond wasn't in stock in a lot of stores, and specifically wasn't in stock for the store I went to, the Hot Topic I went to. I picked her up online, which Hot Topic is very good with their online. Now, they also didn't have the Ahsoka plush. Now, I wasn't too worried about this. It wasn't something I needed or necessarily really wanted, but I can see where there was a problem with that, where there was a limited quantity, which I understand, but when I asked the employee, I'm like, hey, do you guys have the Ahsoka plush? They're like, what are you talking about? Because they just did not receive it, and it sucks that you don't get, if you're looking for a specific item, you don't find it. Now, GameStop. GameStop had the 8-bit Barb, Padme Amidala, and the Cagney Carnation. Their online site worked pretty well from what I've heard. I didn't get anything online. I went there. There was a problem with the Barb. Barb was not there. But the thing is, with GameStop at least, they let you know, hey, we will not be releasing it this day. Hot Topic also announced, hey, Amy Pond will be coming late. So, glad that they did that, so that way I wasn't too worried. And you were able to put your pre-order in for Barb, so I was able to pre-order my 8-bit Barb. Padme, there were plenty in stock in at least my store. But the Cagney Carnation, there was like 2 in every GameStop that I saw, but I didn't even get this chance to see it in person. And that was actually a pop I was really thinking about getting, but I didn't pick it up because I couldn't find it in the store, and money's just a little tight. So GameStop worked fine. Hot Topic was great, except for the Amy Pond, and if you were looking for 8-bit Barb. But here's the thing, those are 2 of the pops that I actually wanted the most. And then box lunch worked very well. Toys R Us was also fine unless you were hunting the day of. Then there would be an issue with that. Now let's get into a few stores that did not do so well for me. Now, Barnes & Noble, I heard a lot of people talking about the flocked Care Bear pop. There were some issues with that where some of them weren't even coming up flocked, and some of them didn't even get shown up in stores. I had an issue with my Barnes & Noble where I wasn't looking for the Care Bear. I wasn't planning on getting it. When I saw it in person, I'm like, maybe I should get it. But then I was like, I'm not collecting the set. It's not something I necessarily want. So, didn't pick that up. But they did not have the Prince Robot in mourning. And that was something that I was actually looking forward to getting. Because even though I haven't read the comics, I actually have the entire Hellboy comics line. And I love comics in general. And if I were to read it, I'd probably pick up the pops. So that's why I kind of wanted to get it, because it's, first of all, it's a cool sculpt. It's a TV robot guy, which looks cool, and I absolutely love it. It looks like a TV. But then he has a crack on him, and I think it was perfectly fine. Barnes & Noble's didn't get it. Barnes & Noble's website absolutely sucks. Which, it's common because I've been collecting pops since... for the Comic Cons at least, since New York Comic Con of 2016. And Barnes & Noble's, their online site, never works. So, that was pretty disappointing, in all honesty. Just going there, all they had was just the flock Care Bear, and they didn't even know about the Prince Robot. Which, you know what, it happens sometimes, you can't find everything. Then we move on to FYE. FYE didn't get their shipment in for a lot of stores. I know a lot of people were looking for the giant white, and none of them had it. Currently, right now, my FYE has the giant white. I don't collect Game of Thrones, but, you know, these are specific days that things are supposed to be released, and nothing comes out. They released the Kurt Cobain that day, and that was all. I had to go there a few days after to pick up my Poison Ivy rock candy, because that's one of the things I wanted the most of. The thing I actually wanted the most was the Poison Ivy rock candy, because this Comic-Con wasn't too interesting, which Emerald City Comic-Con isn't supposed to be the most interesting one. It's the smallest Comic-Con that they do, I think, except for Stan Lee's Comic-Con, which all that stuff just goes to Hot Topic anyway. So, it was a pretty terrible thing at FYE, just going there and them not having anything. Now, we're going to go to the Funko Shop now, before we get into the worst, which, actually, that's a lie. I also wanted to give a little thank you to Wild Card Collectibles, or Wild Card Toys. They had a exclusive, exclusive Jason Dorbs that was blood splattered. This is the very first time they've gotten an exclusive. They're a smaller company from what I know. And what they did was they released it at a random time. And the site was very slow just because they weren't used to that type of traffic. But you were able to get him eventually. And they did it so that way flippers couldn't just say, oh, this is when it's going to release, and then they go and quickly grab it. Which I'm very happy, because I ended up being able to pick one up online. The Funko Shop, the way that was done was, in my opinion, it was perfectly fine. Normally, I know there's going to be a lot of complaints with the fact that they released them all at once, because nobody was expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. But I don't think there's too much fault for them releasing them all at once, to be honest with you guys. It's a smaller Comic-Con. They had a lot of problems with New York Comic Con, where as soon as an item goes up, it sells out instantly. the few of the items that I know, Bigfoot, a lot of people were able to grab him. Some people were able to grab the grown Batman, but he sold out very fast. Bigfoot also sold out very fast. I wasn't able to pick either of those up. The Ramona and Gideon sold out. The Pulpo and the baseball Freddy's, they sold out. But the thing is, you were able to grab a Pulpo, Freddy baseball, or a Ramona and Gideon. And Crypto and Rictus, I don't think they even sold out. And those are actually two that I wanted. I wanted from the Comic-Con, there are not a vast majority of pops that I wanted. In fact, Army Man I didn't necessarily want, but I actually picked him up after seeing him in person. Padme I was on the fence about. Amy Pond isn't even mine. I'm giving that to a friend of mine. I wanted the Crypto and I wanted Crypto and Ace. I wanted the Poison Ivy. Green Chrome Batman, I couldn't care less if I gotten it. If I got him, that'd be cool. I wanted the Bigfoot, but Bigfoot I knew if I couldn't get him, I wouldn't sweat it. Maybe the Saga Pop. Cagney Carnation I would have liked to have had. 8-Bit Barb was a definite for me. So, the Funko Shop didn't necessarily bother me too much until they said that I had a problem with my billing address. And one of the pops that I did want, which I didn't mention, was the Ramona and Gideon. I actually wanted that pop, the 2-pack. I tried to go through it twice, just so that way I can get the Ramona and Gideon. Funko charged me $61.90 each, or 95 cents each, and they charged me twice. I'm not getting any of those pops that I ordered. And currently, right now, my bank has a hold on $123.90, which I would like to have that money. It would be very nice if I could get my $100 back, so that way I can actually not have to worry too much about food or gas or stuff like that. And that's what really sucks with a lot of these stores, that they just put holes in the online stuff. Doesn't work all the time, and it really sucks. Especially like if you have stuff to mail out and you don't have the money because Funko ends up taking your money from you. It's really difficult. So currently I still have the hold and I'm waiting for it to clear. But that's what my grievance with the Funko Shop was. They ended up charging me $123 for me trying to put an order in twice. Them saying that it was wrong, there was something wrong with my billing address, even though I put the same thing in that I always put in and never had a problem. And I lost out on the Ramona and Gideon, and I was really upset about that. But eventually, if I find them secondhand, I might pick them up, but I'm not going to spend too much on it. It's not something that's going to bother me too badly. But I was able to pick up Rictus Erectus and the Crypto and Ace. I ended up doing a third one, being that after they sold out of the Ramona and Gideon, I took like a big break. I probably waited a day, and then I went and bought the Rictus, which I'm trying to complete the Mad Max set, so it was something I needed anyway. Then next, we're going to move on to Walgreens and Target. Walgreens and Target. Where is Deadpool the Duck, Dorbs? That is a big question. Nobody's too worried about it, but the thing is, I know from in the Funko community, there's someone out there who wants that, Dorbs. Where is it at? Walgreens really dropped the ball. As bad, I'm going to say worse than Target. Because Target eventually put out that Yondu. And let's get into the biggest grievance a lot of people had with this Comic-Con. That Yondu went to Target. That was a pop that pretty much everyone wants. Me included. I really wanted the Yondu pop. I have been trying to get the Guardians of the Galaxy set. It's going to be hard to complete just because there's so many, but it was something I planned to get little by little over time, just to complete both Guardians 1 and Guardians 2. And the design on it is amazing. If you saw my Emerald City Comic Con video, the first one that I put, you'll see that I was up waiting at 3 o'clock a.m. for it to come out, all the way up until like 4:30 a.m., 5:30 a.m. Then I'm like, I need some sleep because I have Comic Con filming to do. Never came out that day. I think it came out on the 3rd, or it came out on the 3rd, or it came out a later date. But here's the thing. They knew that it was supposed to come out day 1. It was supposed to come out on the 1st. And everyone was waiting for it. And then all of a sudden they released it at some random day out of nowhere. Oh, here's Yondu. Oh, out of stock. We'll restock him. But here's the thing. For me, I was waiting for it to come up. I took the day off from both work on Comic-Con Day and the day after, just because I had vacation days. I'm like, you know what, I'll put it towards the Emerald City Comic-Con, and then the day after, which was my birthday, I'm like, I want my birthday off. I had those days off on purpose, but since I have to have a certain sleep schedule, just because my overnights, I work overnight, or I work 3 to 11, and my shifts, they keep changing up on me, so I have a random sleep schedule. Every time that Yondu has restocked, I was either away from my phone, I was at a funeral, or I was asleep. And I still have not gotten the Yondu pop. I don't know if it's gonna restock again. And Target really needs to get their stuff together. If it was Funko not shipping the items in time, because I know some of it didn't even get to the warehouse, Funko needs to get their stuff together. That was probably, this Comic-Con was my worst experience with pops at a Comic-Con. Never really had problem with San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con. I know people have had problems with them before. But it's off. This was pretty bad, in my opinion. I don't know if it's just even worse, being that I'm missing $123, which I think does add a little bit to it. A little bit to why I'm so irritated at this Comic-Con. But yeah, it was pretty bad for the most part. Everything that I wanted was not there. Poison Ivy wasn't there. 8-Bit Barb wasn't there. You had to pre-order her. Cagney Carnation sold out very fast if you wanted to go to different stores. They didn't have the Saga Pop. They didn't, I don't know if I even said, like I said, they didn't have my Poison Ivy. They didn't have, they didn't have Yondu on time. They didn't have Amy Pond, which I wanted to get for my friend. It was a pretty unorganized convention. The only thing that I got that I wanted and I didn't have a problem with is something other people would have problems with the Lawyer She-Hulk from Toys R Us, because it was released early, which you're not supposed to do that. But all in all, I hope that the next Comic-Con, the San Diego Comic-Con, is actually going to be better. It will surprise me if it's not better, just because the fact is San Diego Comic-Con is a bigger con, and people will be a lot more irate, because this is a very small con. People will be irate if San Diego goes bad this year. And I'm hoping it doesn't, but I do think that Funko's been in the game for a little too long to let stuff like this happen and let it be this bad. But yeah, I think that's about it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, and I'm sorry that this was kind of like a little bit of a rant, pros and cons of the con. Surprisingly enough, it's more cons for a con. But if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button down below. And I will see you guys next time with more Funko content. So until then, YouTube, Goodbye.